Let's discuss what's going on with retired U.S. General David Petraeus, the former CENTCOM commander, also former CIA Director General. Thanks so much for joining us. As you know, the U.S. now believes 8 to 10% of Russian military assets have already been destroyed in less than 2 weeks of fighting. Can they sustain that rate of loss for several more weeks or even months?
Well, it remains to be seen, Wolf. I very much agree with Jim's assessment. This is a grinding affair. Also, the assessment by retired General Anderson that, again, it's a race between our efforts to supply the Ukrainians and the Russian efforts to actually resupply their forces. Their logistics have been woefully inadequate so far, and to get set so they can finally launch what they believe will be the main effort attack on Kyiv. Of course, they want to replace the Zelensky government with one that is pro-Russian. That's the overriding objective. But it's also a race, I think, Wolf, to see how long the Russian soldiers can maintain the intensity. They're about to enter the most difficult of all combat, and that is urban combat. And we used to discuss, how long can you keep soldiers doing this? How many more buildings, how many more rooms can a soldier enter? Each time they enter, the adrenaline's pumping. It's a very grinding, draining experience. And I don't know that Russia has the replacements. You'll recall in Iraq and Afghanistan, we replaced some of our forces every 6 months. Our soldiers, our army forces were replaced every 12 months, 15 months during the surge, a long time in combat, but we always had that rotation going. I'm not confident that Russia can replace the forces that it's losing, much less the entire complement of the forces when they're spent, when they culminate. And again, this is not just physical, and it is grinding physically, again, urban combat, but it's also the mental toll that urban combat takes on those who are the boots on the ground. And when you strip away all the other systems and logistics and tanks and artillery and so forth, this really comes down to infantry on the ground who are going to have to go in after Russia has pummeled, in some cases rubbled, areas of the city and clear those. And in the meantime, on the other side, you have the Ukrainian defenders fighting for their homeland, determined not to let Russia take their capital. And this is going to be a tremendous showdown. And I'm not convinced that Russia can just crush Ukraine the way that many observers perhaps thought before we saw how woeful some aspects of Russian tactics, logistics, and even campaign design have been.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't happened yet. The CIA director, you heard her, you heard him say Putin overestimated his own military capacity while underestimating Ukrainian resistance as well as the international response. So why did Putin so gravely, by all accounts, miscalculate?
Well, I'm sure that, first of all, a lot of his advisors are very cowed, very intimidated by him. You even saw that, actually, with his showdown with his intelligence chief in one of those bizarre, surreal conferences that he had, long speech and so forth. Beyond that, of course, they did prevail in a way in Syria. Of course, the way they prevailed ultimately was they destroyed Aleppo. Again, it was Syrian forces on the ground, though. It was not the Russian forces. They were doing the bombing campaign and some special operations. The same in Grozny. If we remember, that was a long, protracted campaign. There's some real differences here. And number one is just the sheer quality, capability, innovativeness, resourcefulness of not just, again, the Ukrainian soldiers, it's also the partisan units and even the other resistance. This is the equivalent of, the French in World War II, who are just finding every diabolically creative way to make life difficult for the Russians, whether it's jamming their frequencies, changing road signs, or actually picking off the fuel trucks in that 40-mile convoy to exacerbate the logistical challenges that Russia is already experiencing. So again, this is going to be a tremendous showdown in Kyiv. And again, I don't know how long the Russian soldiers can keep at this. If you think of the losses, I mean, they're approaching again, the very high estimate there is starting to approach what we lost in 20 years of combat in Iraq. And I remember how difficult some of those weeks and months were. I can't imagine what the strain must be on the tactical level. Commanders, those above them, and of course they've even lost some multi-star generals, another one of them just in recent 24 hours or so.
Yeah, it's not going well for them. We'll see how desperate Putin becomes. General David Petraeus, as usual, thank you so much for your analysis. We appreciate it.